Hello everyone. In this video, we are gonna cover the chapter 1. Okay, understanding digital forensics. We need understanding digital forensics profession and investigation. So the objective in this lectures or this chapter describe the field of digital forensics. What's digital forensics exactly from the professional point of view? Explain how prepare your computer investigation and summarize the difference between public sectors and private sector also. Explain the importance of maintaining professional conduct. Okay. Then we need to go to the how you prepare digital forensics, taking systematic approach, procedure for private sector, which is very important. Very important. We can explain this very well. Okay. Explain requirement of data recovery workstation and summarize and conduct how to conduct investigation, including critiquing a case. Okay, so let's go. So what digital forensics? That's very important questions. So digital forensics, it's the application of the computers and the procedures for obtain some digital evidence by legal or for the legal purpose after you have a proper search authority, chain of custody, validation with mathematics. What mathematics here? Playing, we can explain. And use the validate tools, okay, and repeating and reporting all possible expert presentation. Okay, so let's explain. So when we go to the when we go to the any crime scene, or there is any crime scenes has any digital device, again we call digital forensics digital device. What mean? Because the computers is not only the digital device here, could be any tablet, could be any smartphone, could be any kind of the workstations, all those different devices, which is all those under work at same computers, it called digital devices, you know. So these digital devices sometimes we find in crime scene, and you want to find if there is any evidence or any things related with the crime that's happened in this area or stuff like that, you know. So we need to apply the procedures and this legal procedures to obtain getting information. And this information, or this, it could be evidence. We found email, we found someone has some videos, we found any documents. All these things is digital evidence. What mean digital evidence? Because the evidence, we have two kinds of evidence in the world. Physical evidence, so the evidence we can touch, we can say, hey, this is the evidence, this is the mouse, or this things is evidence. This digital, you can touch it, you can, you know. But digital evidence, we cannot find we cannot say, hey, this is the email, like it's something in computers. We cannot, you know, touch it by hand, you know. So we call digital evidence, okay. And with validation. What mean validation with mathematics? We have something called digital signature. We're gonna learn later, okay? We're gonna talk about in some coming classes. So digital signature, it is every user using any digital device, it has multiple digital signature that indicate, for example, this person. If this person, for example, Tariq Atayib, I have my unique digital signature when I send email, receiving or sending any document or creating any document computers, how we know this document is believed to belong to Tariq, you know? So by digital signature. This is how we create digital signatures. It is mathematical equations, creating unique code that's based in your some criteria we're going to talk about later. That's will make this unique. So everyone has a unique digital signature in computer that's created by operating system. You know, you don't have any control, you don't have any things about it, you know. So but we need to validate. For example, if you found email or you found document and in the computer, for example, someone is Bill Smith, but you say, hey, but the document we found it signed by Mike. different persons. So somebody one open the computer, put the file inside, you know. To use of validate tool and repeatable, meaning when I found the evidence, I found evidence, digital evidence in computers. So I want to repeating again, same steps to find the same evidence. So if I get multiple time to find the evidence, I do the first, like multiple steps, I found the evidence. Then I close the computers, open computer again, I just follow another same steps to find the evidence. If I do multiple time and all time lead me to find this evidence, means this evidence strong. I can present this or introduce this evidence in my report or reporting and possible expert presentation, and we need to find it by or presenting by this is with the expert presentation, meaning would be solid and a strong evidence. No one can say, hey, this evidence we have some problems, you know. So the date, the stuff, we're gonna talk about it as we go, okay? There is ISO standard. There is many standard in this area. ISO standard, this number, so it show you some definition of the computer forensics and digital forensics. Also, we have a federal rules evidence which created to ensure consistency and federal procedure. So another standard. Another standard, ISO, federal, FIR, FRA, FRE, so actually, and signed in 1973, this law, okay? Also, we have a FBI Computer Analysis and Response Team, which is CART, also in 1984. Also, you can follow many standards like also Defense Computer Forensics Laboratory, DCFL, 1990. So, and also there is the link for more information about how you can follow the some standards. Fourth Amendment in U.S. Constitution protects everyone's right from secure and search and seizures. So, okay, again, the Fourth Amendment protects everyone, but again, when I found computer in the crime scene and this computer has a password, I need to access this information so I can obtain some data. Maybe this data, it could be have some evidence, but this is also so as explained, that's Fourth Amendment protect every user or every citizen in US to protecting their property and their stuff from anyone to access when unauthorized. Again, but if you need the access or when you find the computer, you found some digital devices and the somewhere, and you wanna access those, you need to have a search warrant. You need a search warrant, because if you found evidence without a search warrant, it is like you are in the illegal situation, you know. So we don't need creating this mess in any case, you know. So digital forensics and other disciplines here, for example, investigating a digital device, collecting data securely. So what mean collecting data? So I'm gonna go, for example, the document. I go to computers, find document. I'm gonna obtain this copy from document. So first of all, we'll need to get the copy from the data to our computers. So I'm computer forensics guy. I found a computers or a laptop or something like that. Then I connect my computer to this one to obtain the data, collecting data. Okay, securely. What means securely? After I collect the data, I should be put them in the somewhere in my computers or on any storage, that this storage providing the secure information, meaning nobody can manipulate. So, for example, if someone opened this file, I found the document file, I copy this file to a secure device. If someone tried to change the data or manipulate the information, they cannot. All right. Also, examining suspect data to determine details such as origin and content, because sometimes I have found the files in computers, but this file created by someone else. How? Because the digital signatures and the content, meaning we need to make sure maybe someone this document, someone sent me the document. So Bill Smith sent me a document. I opened the computer. I found like 10 lines in this document. So this 10 lines is not mine. Here, someone, his name Bill Smith, sent me the file through the internet. I download it, I open it. Then I add some lines. So we need to know what the lines belong to the Bill Smith, what the lines belong to the Tariq. This is also by software, you know, but that's we need us examining this stuff. Presenting digital information in the court. How presenting this data? We need to make secure or solid report and make sure nobody can criticize our evidence. Say, hey, applying laws to the digital device practices. So applying laws such as I cannot access any information or any digital device without search warrant. And sometimes search warrants say, hey, you have authorized to go to this computer for Bill Smith, for example, and search for any suspicious email or any take a look for emails you found any evidence. During my searching, I saw something in that, for example, accidentally, certain way, I found some weird photo or some photo that could be evidence. I cannot, hey, I found evidence, I uploaded to my report, I get this evidence, I say, see this picture, even this image could be evidence, it's image, but the court will not able to use it because the search warrant not allow you, not authorized you. How you access there? Did you search on the computer? You put yourself in the illegal situation, you know. So you need to apply law to digital devices practice. Digital forensics and different and data recovery. What data recovery? And if you work tomorrow in any company and you work on the project, for example, 4 months, 5 months. After 5 months, you open the computers. You come after 5 months, you find all computers. You work in the files. You build the data, Excel file and stuff like that. You building the informations for 6 months. After 6 months, you open the computer, find the computer is damaged, and the hard drive or hard disk is destroyed, damaged, you know, broken. So meaning you lose the data. No, the IT department they able to do something called data recovery. Why? Because every day they access all of your computers and get backup, you know, backup from the morning and, for example, 8 to 5, like a 12 and 5 every day. They get the backup from your computer. So when they return the data from backup, we call data recovery. So we return the data that you lost it, we call data recovery. So the data recovery is not computer forensics, it's not digital forensics. Obtain the data from the suspicious computers is not data recovery, okay? Which is involved retrieving information that was deleted by mistake or lost during the power surge or any server crash. Forensics investigators often work as a part of the team. No, so again, when you work with the as a computer forensics, you never work alone. You shouldn't work alone. How? Even if you have very computer forensics skills, you have to go with someone expert in the law, and maybe with another one expert, like a policeman or something, like a police officer. So why expert in the law? Before you start touching any device, the person who expert in the law, you need to know, you go like some check the situation and the crime scene or whatever to tell you, yes, you can access these computers. Because from state to state, the law change. From the county to county, the law change. From this stuff. So we don't want to make some things, put yourself or put the case in the risk because misunderstanding. So, or you don't understand or you don't know the entire law. So we need this is the things we call, you need to work as a part of team. So here's the investigation trial here. So we have a vulnerability, threat assessment, and risk management, and network intrusions detections, and digital investigation. So what is those? So vulnerabilities, if someone, because when you obtain the data and put it in computers in your lab, in the computer forensics, could someone has send you virus, send you things to control, to damage your evidence. So this is kind of the investigation trial, okay? So vulnerability, threat assessment, risk management tests, verify integrity, and stand alone workstation. Okay, for example, I'm computer forensics. I found the data in the cloud. I went to the crime scene. Hey, the data in the cloud. I'm not good in the cloud. Should I be in the good cloud? No. So that's why in the team you should come with someone in the cloud. Something else. I go to the crime scene. I found the data in Apple computers. I'm not good in Apple computer. I don't know how to obtain the data. So I need someone expert can come with me. Linux, Windows. So we have different operating system. So we need to test also. You need some things about vulnerability and the risk. This is like a hacker. Is my system can be hacking? Yes. Should as a computer forensics I will be understand all those things? No. You need someone on the cybersecurity, computer security work with you. So network intelligence detect the attacks using the automated tools. So this sometimes is because we send you network intelligence so to destroy your evidence. Okay. So a brief history about digital forensics. By early 1990s, International Association of Computer Investigative Specialists, which stand for IACIS, introduced a training of the software. So this would be starting as like a 22 years ago. This was the training. It was before that we didn't have this training. Okay, IRS also created search warrant program. ASR also creating expert witness on the Macintosh. For Macintosh? You know what the Macintosh? Macintosh is the Apple company. Apple company, the computer right now we call Apple Air or whatever the Apple computers. It was in the like in the 90s. It's called Macintosh. All right. ILOC currently also IRS Criminal Investigation Division. You know, also Access Data Forensics Toolkit. Sorry. Which is softwares that using to obtain this data from computers. You need to understand that the case law, existing law cannot keep up with all the technology change. Also, when status don't exist, case law is used. Allow legal to apply previous similar cases for the current. For example, because sometimes situations happen, you don't know what kind of procedure you're going to follow. So people in the law tell you, hey, we have this happened before and this court happened. So that's why expert in the law who follow everything, you're going to cover this point for you, okay? So developing digital forensics resources. Okay, the resources is very important. When you work with the technology, computer, like a digital forensics, you need to be update and have resources, you know? So to keep your knowledge updating, the technology change very quick and very, you know. So developing and maintaining contact with the computing, networking, and investigative professional. Join computer user groups in both public and private sectors. So we have a computer technology investigation network called CTIN. You need to meet with those groups and discuss it in the internet. Okay. However, in the digital investigations, we have two area or two categories: public and private. Public, what mean public? You work with the police, work with the courts. This is public. Private, what mean private? If the attorney receiving the case and they say, hey, we found this evidence, and some evidence it will be digital evidence, you know. So this time the attorney want to study this digital evidence, which is he doesn't know or she doesn't know, the office, the people who work in the attorneys doesn't know, is this evidence, what does it mean, you know, sometimes. So they're gonna hire someone understanding digital forensics like you. So some people doesn't work in the government, they work with the part-time or whatever they have. So they're gonna go with the private sector to investigation, okay? So this is show you the difference between the public and private sectors, which is nice pictures. So public sector investigation involve government agency responsible for criminal investigation and prosecutions. Fourth Amendment in U.S. Constitution restrict a government to search and seizure without search warrant. Okay, Department of Justice (DOJ) update information in computer search and seizure regularly. Private sector's investigation focus more on public policy violations. When conducting public sector investigation, you must understand law, Aha, you must understand law. That's why you need a team when someone standard legal process guidelines on the search and seizures. For example, you found evidence. I found evidence in the a company. I found the computer in the company. The crime scene has a company or an organizations, and they have a computer desktop. So I found evidence. Can I seize these computers? The company, hey, we need these computers. How we can take it, So how we solve this situation, How to build criminal case. So after you found the evidence, how you build it. How you build it strong that can stand in the court, Computer Fraud Abuse Act was passed in 1986. What mean abuse here? For example, I work in the company because sometimes the criminal, not about only like a criminal. Sometimes we have a modern criminal. Like what? Like I go to the company and I have my website, for example, or my videos in my YouTube channel. I have a 1,000 video. I want to upload them, which is to need a huge internet speed. So I put my computers in the Wi-Fi of the company and upload there. This criminal. You misuse the resources of the company, So you do your business and, for example, using the company resources, which is not legal, not legal, This kind of stuff, So in the following legal processes. A criminal investigation usually begins when someone finds evidence. Witness or victim makes allegations to the police. Police interview and talk with this witness and write report, So report process proceed and manage, decide to start investigation, or you're gonna go with the log information or blotter, So it's like a blotter is a historical database of previous criminals. So when you some things you want to search, and this criminal, I don't know, you're gonna search into some things similar. Okay, so we have a digital evidence first responder, and we have a digital evidence specialist, and we have affidavit. So digital evidence first responder, which is stand for DEFR, arrive on incident scene, assess the situations, and takes precautions to acquire and preserve evidence. For example, we found the computer on. We don't turn it off because maybe some data in the computer not saved yet. So we need it on. So you tell, hey, nobody turn it off, keep this one, stuff like that. Digital evidence specialist, which is DES, has a skills. Then maybe say, hey, we need someone. This DFR. DFR say, hey, the data in the cloud. And the cloud, nobody knows. For example, if you are in New York, maybe the cloud and your data, the physical device in the cloud, maybe in the California or Florida, somewhere else. Nobody knows where. So this guy is saying we need someone expert in the cloud. Also, the DES then, which is digital evidence specialist, has a skill to analyze data and determine when another specialist should call to assist. For example, if you have a cloud, Affidavit, which is a sworn statement for support of facts about or evidence of crime, must be exhibits and support and allegations, Private sector. Private sectors, again, it is involved with private companies, lawyers who address a company policy and violations and litigations. Oh, something else. Every company, sometimes you work with the attorney because every company, they need to know if someone manipulating or doing some stuff. So they hiring people like you to check if there's anyone do suspicious activity in these computers, and you want to work with the attorney for this company to, if you found it, you're gonna build right report. Business strive to minimize, eliminate litigation. Provide sector crimes can involve email harassments, falsification of the data, gender and age discrimination, and other industry espionage. So business can reduce the risk of litigation by publishing and maintaining policies that employees find easy to read and follow. Most important policies define rules of using a company's computers and network, known as acceptable use policy. Okay, line of authority, which states how has the legal right to initiate investigation. Okay, so it could be the company COO or whatever, business can avoid litigations by displaying warning banner on computer screen. For example, we put the warning banner in the computer screen, say you cannot use the internet for only for personal use or whatever, or you can use the internet or computer resources only in the for the company business only, or you cannot access the server, or you cannot open your social media, stuff like that. Like the banners, it could be prevent any people misunderstand. Inform end user that organization reserve the right to inspect the computer system and network traffic at all. So, for example, anyone open anything, we can see it. We're monitoring everything in computers. So also this is kind of banners protected. Something like that, Are you about to access United States government computer network and that's intent for authorized user only? You should have no exceptions of privacy in your use network. So something like that would be enough to prevent or prevent any problems or any misunderstanding from users. Sample text can be used internal warning banner. Use the system network. System network are subject for monitoring. This kind of the message can be used to protect the computers from misunderstanding. Business are advised to specify an authorized requester who has a power to initiate investigations. Okay, could be, again, who can do that? Could be the corporate security investigators, ethics office, whatever, based on the policy of this company. Okay, so also during the private investigation, you search evidence support allegation of violations of a company rules, such as abuse or misuse computer assets like internet resources, whatever, email, internet, stuff like that. So the distinguish between personal and company computers property, can be difficult with the cell phone. For example, some company give you cell phones, and are they able to watching this, what activity your cell phone, stuff like that, bring your own device. So some companies state that if you connect your personal device to the business network, it falls under same company property. Is this legal, acceptable? Stuff like that. So this is like a kind of things you didn't need just someone again in your team. You have you work with the team as a forensics. So one of the team should be expert in the law. Professional conduct. So professional conduct including ethics, moral, and standard, and maintain objectivity and maintain credibility. For example, in simple, if you go find evidence, you will not share this evidence with anyone unless they have the right to share, So you cannot talk about everything. Keep secret, keep professional, okay? The role of digital forensics professional is to gather evidence to prove that suspect committed crime or violated company policy. Collecting evidence or collect evidence that can be offered in court at corporate inquiry. Chain of custody. Route the evidence takes from the time to find until the case closed. So how you make this custody work to prove your the crimes, Computers can contain information that helps law to enforcement to determine a chain of the events, evidence that can lead convictions. Okay. For example, let me show you something in my computers. We have something called event viewer here. In every computer, for example, event viewer. What the event viewer? If you click here, if you have a Windows computer, you can find Windows logs. So what I have 86,000 Windows log. So what is those? So I'm gonna open this one. For example, applications. Everything's happen in my computer. It be registered here. Everything's memory, everything's error, any things I did, systems, setup. So this information, we can access it, as a computer forensics, and we can find some information, So law enforcement officers should follow the proper procedure when you're acquiring evidence. Digital evidence can easily alerted by over-eager investigators. And so employees misusing resources can cost a company millions of dollars, like surfing internet, sending personal emails, using a company computer for personal tasks, And steps to solving the problem: make initial assessment, creating a detailed checklist, determine primarily design of approach case, determine resources you need, obtain the copy of the evidence drive. Drive meaning hard drive. So also identify the risk. What's the risk? How I can mitigate or minimize the risk. For example, when I'm trying to obtain the data, maybe I lose the data. This risk. So how can I stop this one? Test and design. After I found this evidence, how can test this evidence is really evidence. It can be accurate evidence. Analyze and recovery digital evidence. How we can, if I lose the evidence, how I can return it back. Investigate the data and recovery. Also complete the case report. When I finish, how I can do my report. And if someone want to critique my case, how you can critique what is my weakness in my case, I need to know so it can cover those weaknesses, Systematic outline. How make systematically outline of the case situation. For example, what the situation, when I'm going to obtain the data from government, from foreign, from the private. What nature of the case specifies the case, type of the evidence, emails, photo, videos, knowing disk format. What kind of disk? So format meaning the disk style, or we can explain that later with more detail. The disk style is format from Windows, different from Windows, from the Apple, different from Linux. Location for evidence is evidence exists in the New York or the office in New York, but the evidence in the cloud, this cloud maybe in the overseas, in Europe, for example. So this all information is very important for understanding planning of investigations. So basic investigation plan should include the following activity: acquire evidence, how you can acquire, complete the evidence. When you acquire, say, oh, this evidence is complete now. Transport this evidence to your lab, computer forensics lab. How you can do that. Secure, then after that, how we secure this evidence. No one can play with them by a certain way, accidentally or by purpose. However, prepare your forensics workstation. Workstation meaning the computer. How I can find software. For example, there is a foreign language in this evidence, Chinese or Asian language. I need to make sure this data can readable from my side, Retrieve the evidence from secure container. How we can do that? Make forensics copy of the evidence returned, because these questions they're gonna asking you how you return this evidence from the container after you put that, So because the attorney in the court tried to make sure you don't have unsafe or unsecure areas, so they won't be doubt about you or someone maybe manipulate with this evidence, Process of the copied evidence. If you copy the evidence, how you copy the evidence. So evidence and custody form helps to document that has been done, the original evidence, and it is forensics copies. Two types of this form: single and multi evidence form. Okay, this is the single, and again, this is not standard. There is many different style. Just examples, kind of the forms. Securing the evidence. Use the evidence bags, like a secure bags, anti-static bags, So that's how this evidence become anti-static bag or anti-static bags. Nothing will be shortage happen during the you are check the evidence, Use the evidence tapes to seal all opening, and write your initial on tape and prove that evidence has not been tampered with anyone or any something that can access only you. Consider computer specific temperatures and humidity ranges, This is very important in any computers actually lab, As investigators, you need to develop formal procedure for yourself and the formal checklist, to cover all issues important. Ensure also the correct technique. When they ask you, are you systematic? Are you do the systems? Yes, you follow all times of the systems. Employee termination case. The major investigation of work termination case involve employee abuse corporate assets, incidents that create hostile work environment are dominate types of the case investigated. Viewing like a pornographic and workplace, sending an appropriate email. Organization must have appropriate policy in place. To conduct investigation, you need organization internet proxy server logs, as I show you, like a event viewer, IP address. You need the suspect also computer disk drive, and you prefer computer forensics analyze tool. Also, tools make software. Okay, so recommended steps: use standard forensics analysis technique and procedure. When you found emails, you need to read these emails multiple times to analyze if there is any problem, because maybe sometimes the emails appear normal, but after read multiple times you find something. Appropriate tool that extract web pages that visit by user or this person. Firewall, what the context, what the firewall? The firewall is like a routers, firewall like a router, but check the traffic, for example. It's like a routers with the antivirus and another software tell you if there is any suspicious activity happen, you know. Data recovered from the forensics, also like a proxy server logs. Continue analyzing the computer disk data. You can, as data we obtained, you need analyzing and define any information, you know. Email abuse investigations. To conduct investigation, you need electronic copy of the offending email that contains message header at the top of the message, you know. For email system that you store user message and central server, access the server, access the computer so that you can perform forensics analysis, and you prefer computer forensics analysis tool. So use the standard forensics analysis technique, obtain electronic copy. And there is another tool like a FTK. FTK is a tool software that using to obtain email. Like what? When you receive email, we don't know from where, but this tool tell you, hey, this IP coming from this country and this guy, you know. So examine the header. We call the header of the data or even the email that tell me from where coming and everything, you know. So under attorney client privilege, which is called ACP rules, you must keep all finding confidential. You cannot share with the press or any media or stuff like that. Many attorney like have a print out of the data. Sometimes that, he tell you, if you work with the court or the attorney, you found, hey, I found evidence. You're gonna print out for me and bring it, you know. So what happened after they read it? You need to make sure there is nothing. Someone leave the emails or any evidence you print out for the attorney of the court. Can you be passed to you leave it in the desk or something like that, so you can pass it to any media. You can also encounter problem if you found the data in the binary file. What the binary file? The data in the computers we save it behind the scene. Now we see it like a characters like now, but this behind the scene, it's called binary, which is machine computer language behind the scene. Sometimes we're not able to read this data like this, but we find it binary, then we convert it to the other things, you know. Steps to conducting a client privilege, attorney client privilege, which is ACP. Request a memorandum from the attorney directing you to start investigation. Request a list of knowledge of the internet investigation. Initiate investigation and analysis for disk drive examination. Make 2 bits team image and different search. Compute or compare hash signature. Hash signature again is the digital signature in the user, okay, and the user. Also run a keyword search. For example, I found millions of emails. I can't read all emails, for example, but I can use some keyword search that find, you know. And again, the Windows operating system use a special tool to analyze. For the binary data, we use CAD drawing, and unallocated data, which is allocated data, meaning as not unallocated. Data recovery, use the tool, remove and replace non-printable data. Unallocated data meaning is not Windows data. It's not Windows computer, because Windows computer is located, okay, allocated. So also consolidate or recover data from evidence bit stream. What the bit stream? Any data we copy it as a lot from computer to computers. It's called like a bit by bit, it's like a computer language, a low level of computer language. We call bit stream. Image into the folder. So also other guidelines: minimize written communication with the attorney. Any documentation written to the attorney must be continued. The header of the stating that it is not privileged legal information, confidential work product, stuff like that. So what about espionage investigations? What about the espionage if anyone spies in the computers? For example, this could be not only between government, between companies, company A, company B. Some people work for this company to pass the information, So all suspect industry and espionage case should be treated as a criminal, Digital investigation, who responsible for this forensic examination. Also technology specialists who knowledgeable of suspected compromised technical data. Network specialized who can perform log analysis. All threat assessment specialized, So espionage also, you need to determine whether investigation involve possible industrial espionage incident. Consult with the corporate attorney and upper management to determine what kind of information could be considered as espionage. For example, recently I heard someone, he posted in the Twitter, someone working the Google, he say our robotics, the building robotics with the smart AI, they say they has a feeling, and they recently requesting some rights. They say, machine say, hey, where's my rights? I have rights. So then Google take this serious and think, hey, you talk about some things you shouldn't, and so this is is this espionage or not? That's the point. Generate list of work for disk forensics and sniffer monitoring. So also determine a goal and the scope of investigations. So you have a goal and scope. What the goal? What the scope? So you cannot search everything because the computer is a huge data. Also, you need to examine all emails suspecting employee. Search for the internet news groups. Initiate physical surveillance. Examine facility physical access logs and sensitive area. Determine suspect location and relations to vulnerable assets. Study and suspect work habits, collecting incoming and outgoing phone logs. This is important. Also, gather personal assign of investigations. Gather resources conducting investigations. Okay. So interviews, interrogations in high-tech investigation. Becoming skilled interviewer, interviewer and interrogators can take many years. So interview usually conduct to collect information from the witness. Interrogations, a process for trying to get suspect to confess. This is also a term you need to know about it. So as a investigators, to instruct a rule of as a digital investigators, to instruct investigators conducting interview on what question to ask. Ingredients for successful interview interrogations: being patient throughout the session, repeating or rephrasing questions to zero in on specific facts from a relevant witness or suspect. And also investigators can conducting a computer forensics lab. Okay. So computer forensics workstation, it's specifically configured with computers. So computer forensics workstation expensive. Why called workstation? Because it's powerful computers, loaded with additional softwares, strong softwares. It has something called right blocker device. What blocker device? Place in the computers like a part of the computers, when you put the data, nobody can change it. Nobody can touch it, you know. Just be readable, okay? Basic requirement, Windows 7 or later, maybe Windows 11 now, we should say, write blocker, which is a device, which is, when you put the data in this device, nobody can change it. Digital forensic, excuse me, digital forensics analysis tool, any software that allow you, when you have evidence and you have data from computers, it show you if there's any suspected data. Target drive, which is target drive to receive the source. When you have a data coming from the computer, I want somewhere to store this one, called drive. Spare PATA or SATA. PATA or SATA, not kind of the hard drive. USB ports where you can connect these devices, okay? Network card, USB, disk, SCSI card, it's an old technology for hard drive, text editor, disk editor, graphic software like a Photoshop and stuff like that. Conducting investigations. Conducting investigations, will be some resources, gather resources, from original storage media, evidence, custody form, and then you container. When you put the data from hard drive, you want to put container. Bitstream, we're going to talk about bitstream. Imaging tool, we're going to talk about what they call exactly in following classes or lectures. Forensics workstation to copy, and securable device unlocker. Okay. So when you have those, avoid damaging. You need them steps: meet the IT manager, interview, fill out evidence form, place the evidence in secure container, and carry the evidence from the to the computer forensics lab. Then try to secure the evidence by like them. Okay. Bitstream and bitstream image. Computers, it has something called bit. I'm gonna explain this later in some lectures, coming lectures. Bitstream copy and bitstream image. Bitstream copy is bit by bit. So meaning, sometimes if I have a data and data have a problem, this will be copy the data with the problems, as is, no problem. But bitstream image will be check if the data has a problem, they cannot copy it. So this data, in system situation, I need this data. For example, I have a Word file, for example, and this Word file have a 1000 word, but we have a 98% of this file is 2% has a problem, 95 is good. So maybe 2 words is not would be shown up in this file. So I have a 98 excuse me, 98 the word it's readable for us, so we can know like a 98. But bitstream image, if the file is not 100% correct, we're not able to copy it. So I cannot copy the file if I have a problem. So the first one meaning is good, it give me like a 98 of knowledge. But this one, if I have a 2% also, 98 correct and 2% problem, will not copy the file. The software cannot copy the file. So this kind of the bitstream copy and bitstream image. Okay. This hard drive show you, for example, if I have a problem here, it's gonna be based in what kind. So in this first one, we're gonna copy the file with the problems. This one, we need to fix the problem first, then the copy. So after acquiring the image, what the mean image? The file we call image because it's copy in, it's like an image, you know, of evidence. You need to preserve the original evidence. So what mean preserve? Meaning when I have this data, someone go to the crime scene, give me, hey, this hard drive has this evidence. I will not work in this evidence. I want to preserve this original. So I'm gonna make another copy. Excuse me. Then from this copy, I have 3 copies. I'm gonna work on those copies. Why? Because I need to preserve the original evidence. Because if I work in this copy, if I did any mistakes, I still can return the first original and get another copy to work. So I have the original things as is. I never. But if I work in the original, if I have any problem, I damage my original. I don't have any backup. You know. So we have different operating system like Microsoft DOS, MS-DOS, Linux, Windows, other Apple, another things. We have different kind of system. We're gonna explain what the FAT, what the TFS, and stuff like that in the different lectures. The most important things you need to look deleted file. What? Yes, we have something called deleted file. What the deleted file? Deleted file, that file deleted by computers. So you need the software allow you to return deleted file. Is this exist? Yeah, we have a software that can return deleted files. So we believe that file that deleted from the computer, it could be important, always important, you know. Then the file fragment, then the complete files. You know, file fragment, file missing some stuff. There is a software called Autopsy or Auto Autopsy that can return this as deleted file. Okay. So we'll not do this lab here right now. So, but that should explain you how you find, for example, this deleted file with this one. You know, and you can make a search by some keyword. That's then you're gonna find this data. This is the resources of this image, and they show you here this file. Then you click on the file, you find something, you know, that's related with this case, you know. And this is in the, if you click on the file, some file coming with the binary like this with the digital signature. That's also required to know the digital signature, you know. When you complete the case, you need a procedure final report and state what you find in this case. Also, you need to make sure you repeat steps to finding this evidence. Otherwise, you have a problem. You know. So maybe in the court, ask your command. This is the computer for the suspect person. Find this evidence. If you need if you are not prepared, you will be not able to do that. So it would be. People doubt about your report, you know. And also there is you need to write the everything's in report and answer 6 W's, which is who, what, when, where, why, and how. You know, who did this, what, meaning, when, and where, which is computer, which server, why you claim like this, because the IP, and how. And we're gonna explain this later in some lectures. Okay. You must explain computers and network processes. Okay, Autopsy report. This is a software. You know, it can generating the plain text may be readable. You cannot. You need a create or HTML or Excel. Critiquing the case. Ask yourself how can I improve my performance? Did you expect result you find? What documentation throughout as it could be have been? What feedback has received from request sources? Did you discover any new problem? Did you use any technique during the case, during the search and stuff like that? This is kind of the things. And this is the chapter 1 finish. And if you have any questions, email me or we can meet if you would like to meet with me. Thank you so much. Have a good one.